Imagine for 1 second that the ultimate nightmare for our division rivals finally came true, and the most dangerous defensive mind in the NFC North packed his bags and left for good. We were inches away from a total power shift that would have changed the landscape of our upcoming season, but the football gods had other plans. Today, we are breaking down a massive, what-if, scenario that almost saved the Midway, plus some under-the-radar roster moves that prove the front office is hunting for hidden gems. Before we dive into the madness of this coaching carousel and these new signings, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, share this with your fellow diehards, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single update on the future of this franchise. Let's talk about the absolute bombshell that dropped regarding the coaching landscape. We all saw Mike McCarthy take the reins over in Pittsburgh, returning to his roots, but what wasn't crystal clear until now is how close we came to a miracle. Reports are surfacing that Brian Flores was not just a candidate, he was a legitimate finalist for that job. Can you even picture the collective sigh of relief we would have let out if Flores was gone? The man has been a thorn in our side, and for a moment, it looked like he was heading out the door. There was even a push to get him to stay in Pittsburgh as a defensive coordinator with a wink and a nod, promise that he could be the heir apparent to McCarthy. But Flores isn't playing games. It was head coach or bust, and since he didn't get the top spot, he's heading right back to Minnesota. Why does the universe want us to suffer through his blitz packages for another year? Question of the day: if you could boot one coach out of the NFC North right now to make our path to the playoffs easier, who are you picking and why? Drop your names in the comments below. It makes you wonder if the competitive balance of the North is just destined to stay this stressful. While we dodged, or rather, missed, a break there, the front office is busy churning the bottom of the roster, and they just added 2 names that should have you very intrigued. These aren't just camp bodies. These are the types of high-upside swings that smart teams take during the offseason. First up, let's talk about the return of an absolute physical freak, Jamree Kromah. This guy has been grinding on the practice squad for the better part of 2 years, and while he hasn't cracked that final 53-man roster yet, the measurables are enough to make any scout drool. We're talking about an edge rusher who stands over 6 feet 3 inches with 35.25-inch arms. Do you realize how rare that length is? He's got the frame of a dominant defensive end, and at 275 pounds, he's got the room to be a real problem if the coaching staff can finally unlock that raw potential. He's young, he's hungry, and he's played under high-level coaching back in his college days at James Madison under Curt Cignetti. Is this the year the light bulb finally stays on for him? Then, there's the case of Qadir Ismail, which might be one of the most fascinating journeys I've seen in a long time. This guy is the definition of an offensive Swiss Army knife. He started his college career as a quarterback at Villanova, then transferred and switched to wide receiver at Samford, and now he's a 6 feet 6 inches, 232-pound tight end. He's a massive target who runs a sub-4.7 40-yard dash. That is elite athleticism for someone that size. He's bounced around the league. The Ravens, Raiders, Giants, and Jags have all taken a look at him, which tells you one thing: NFL scouts are obsessed with his traits. With a creative offensive mind at the helm, a guy like Ismail is the perfect low-risk, high-reward project. If he can finally find a home and learn the nuances of the tight end position, he could be a red zone nightmare. Speaking of the roster, we've now seen a total of 16 players signed to futures contracts. These deals are the lifeblood of off-season competition. On the offensive side, we've got guys like Britton Brown, who showed some real spark in the backfield when he got his chances in Cincinnati. We've also got slot specialists and return threats like Maurice Alexander and J.P. Richardson. These are the guys who make special teams go. And don't forget the tight end room, which is getting crowded with the likes of Steven Carlson and Nikola Kalinick joining Ismail. On the defensive side, it's all about depth and grit. We've brought in Jonathan Garvin, who actually has some real game experience with the Packers, and Jeremiah Martin to bolster the line. The linebacker core is getting a look too, with Nephi Sewell and Dominique Hampton. We even have some intrigue in the secondary with Dallas Flowers and Dante Manning. But keep an eye on the specialist spot. Luke Elkin, the long snapper who worked with Tory Taylor back at Iowa, is officially in the building. Could we be seeing a change at long snapper to keep that Iowa connection strong for 2026? It's easy to dismiss these moves as minor, but history is filled with players who signed a futures contract in January and ended up making a game-winning play in December. We're taking swings on length, speed, and versatility. The coaching carousel is still spinning elsewhere, too. Todd Monken just snagged the head coaching gig in Cleveland, which sent shockwaves through the NFC because the Giants were practically measuring him for a headset to be their offensive coordinator. Now New York is scrambling. Every time a team in our conference misses out on their top choice for a coordinator, it's a win for us. The less stability our rivals have, the better. We're also keeping a close eye on the remaining openings in Arizona and Las Vegas. It looks like the Rams might lose some staff to the Cardinals, with Mike LaFleur potentially heading there, which could further shake up the hierarchy of the NFC. It's a wild time to be a football fan, and even though the roads are just now clearing up and life is slowly getting back to normal, the grind for this team never stops. We are chasing excellence, and whether it's through a what-if coaching change or a dark horse tight end signing, the goal remains the same: total North domination. Moving forward into the heat of the summer, the competition for those final roster spots is going to be absolute warfare on the practice field. You have to love the way the front office is prioritizing pure, unadulterated size and length with these specific defensive signings, because that's how you build a wall that nobody wants to run into. It's not just about the starters anymore. It's about having that 53rd man on the roster who can step in during a cold December night and play mistake-free football. We've seen too many seasons derailed by a lack of depth, and these 16 futures contracts are the insurance policy we've been begging for. Whether it's a converted quarterback trying to reinvent himself at tight end or a long snapper trying to reunite with his college punter, every single one of these guys has a chip on their shoulder and something to prove to the rest of the league. The front office is essentially placing a series of high-upside bets, and if even one of these players develops into a rotational piece, the entire offseason strategy becomes a massive win. We are witnessing the slow, methodical construction of a roster designed to outlast the competition, and the energy around this building is unlike anything we've felt in years. As the coaching vacancies finally fill up and the draft boards start to crystallize, remember that the foundation is being laid right now in these quiet January moves. The road to the championship isn't just paved in April and May. It's built by the guys who are willing to grind when nobody is watching. Stay locked in, stay passionate, and let's keep this energy moving all the way to training camp because the North is wide open for the taking. We're going to keep monitoring every single ripple in the coaching pool and every name that hits the transaction wire. Every piece of the puzzle matters when you're trying to build a winner, and we aren't leaving any stone unturned. The division is changing, the players are shifting, and the stakes have never been higher. The ripple effect of Todd Monken choosing Cleveland cannot be overstated because it forces our conference rivals into Plan B mode. When teams are forced to scramble for their second or third choice at coordinator, it directly impacts the development of their young stars and the complexity of their playbooks. We want our opponents guessing. We want them unsettled while we focus on refining our own identity. This constant shuffling of the deck across the league is exactly why continuity is such a valuable currency, and it's something we are finally starting to establish. Looking at the defensive side of these futures deals, the emphasis on versatility is glaringly obvious. You have guys like Javarius Owens and Dallas Flowers who have shown they can adapt to different coverage schemes on the fly. This isn't just about filling spots for training camp. It's about building a secondary that can survive the inevitable injuries that come with a 17-game schedule. If one of these young corners can develop into a reliable next man up, it frees up the front office to be even more aggressive in the upcoming draft. Let's not overlook the impact of the Sewell connection either. Having Nephi Sewell in the building alongside the existing talent at linebacker creates a level of competition that elevates everyone. It's about culture as much as it is about talent. When you bring in players who have seen what it takes to succeed at the highest levels, it permeates throughout the entire locker room. These young men aren't just here to participate. They are here to compete for their professional lives, and that desperation often leads to incredible breakthroughs on the field. And what about the specialist battle? Bringing in Luke Elkin to challenge the status quo at long snapper shows that no position is safe from the pursuit of perfection. If there's even a 1% improvement to be found in the snap-to-kick operation, this front office is going to find it. This is the kind of meticulous attention to detail that separates the playoff contenders from the also-rans. We are building a machine where every cog, no matter how small, is optimized for peak performance. As we look toward the next phase of the offseason, the excitement is palpable because for the first time in a long time, the plan feels cohesive. We aren't just reacting to the market, we are actively shaping it. Every signing, every interview, and every strategic decision is a brick in the wall of what we expect to be a dominant 2026 campaign. The road is long and the challenges will be many, but the foundation we are laying today is rock solid. Make sure you're keeping those notifications on because this offseason is only getting started, and the moves we see today are the ones that define our Sundays tomorrow. Let's get to work, let's keep building, and most importantly, let's keep our eyes on the prize.